So we're going to work on sales tax and discounts today. It's really easy stuff, so you should finish pretty quickly. So we're going to start with changing a percent to a decimal. So remember to change a percent to a decimal. You're going to write your percent. Your decimal is in the back, and you want to move it 2 places to the left. And so as a decimal, it's 0.13. So if it already has a decimal in it, you can just move it over 2 places, and you get 0.156. Again, your decimal is behind the 2. If you move it over 2 places and there's nothing there, you just fill it in with a 0. So this one is going to be 0.02. So what is 7% going to be? 0.07. Any questions on changing it? To go the other way, to make it a percentage, you take the decimal back to the right 2 places. So 0.25, move your decimal back. Makes 25%. Again, moving your decimal back 2 places, we get 33.7%. Move your decimal back 2 places, you get 2.5%. And then on the last one, move your decimal back, and it's just 1%. Okay. So then we got a little bit of word problems. It's not real bad. If you got a 93 on a test, be careful, read what it says. What percent did you get wrong? So remember, if you got a 93, that's how many you got right. So how much did you get wrong? How would you figure that out?
100 minus 93.
Thank you. Which is 7. So you would have gotten 7% wrong. All right, you got an 88.3 on the test. How do you find out what you got wrong? How do you figure it out? 100 minus 88.3. Gosh, use your calculator. 100 minus 88.3 gives me 11.7%. This is just getting you working with decimals and percentages. There's really not a lot of this going on. When we get into the tax and discount part, that's what you need to know. So you got 13% wrong on your test. What did you make on the test? So that's what you got wrong. So how do I figure out what I got right? You missed 13. How do I figure out what your score is? Thank you. 100 minus 13. What do you get? If you have to, use the calculator. 100 minus 13 is what? 87. That's it. All right. So sales tax is a percent of the purchase price that's paid in addition to the purchase price. So when you guys go shopping, doesn't matter what you buy, when you go shopping, you have to pay tax on it. So if it says it's $1.50, you're probably going to end up paying a little bit more, having to add that sales tax on. So you guys are going to figure out how to do that today. Your total price is the purchase price plus the sales tax. So here's an easy way to calculate it. You're going to do your purchase price times 1 plus the sales tax rate. So again, this is the price. This 1 means that you're going to pay 100% of whatever you're buying plus your tax percent. Okay, so that's what that little thing stands for. So why do we use the 1? To make sure that we're paying for everything. So you pay for it first and then you add the tax to it. And then it shows you some crazy stuff. This number right here with the 1 added in is called a multiplier. We'll get to there in a minute. Okay, so all of that stuff I'm about to teach you anyway. So if you don't understand all those words, we got it. All right. So a McDonald's meal costs $8. I don't know why this is not way over there. This is supposed to go over here. Ignore this. The sales tax in North Carolina is 6.75%, 6.75%. So we're going to find the total price, the tax, and the multiplier. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to set it up. We're not going to worry about these three for just a minute. So it says purchase price comes first. So how much did we pay? $8. We do times 1 plus, we can't use the percent, we have to use the decimal. So I need to change 6.75 to a decimal. So what would it be? All right, so now I'm just going to add this up, and this is really simple because you just squish it together. It'll be 1.0675. This number is the multiplier. So 1.0675 is your multiplier. Put that in your calculator. 8, you can put the double zeros if you want to, it doesn't matter. Times 1.0675. What do we get? 8.54. So your total price is $8.54. How much tax did you pay? How do you know you paid 54 cents? You're correct. How'd you know? It was only $8 and now we had to pay $8.54, right? So we subtract those two and our tax is 54 cents. You can write it like this, or you can write 54 with a little C slash, I don't care. All right, on the next one, a new suit costs $450. The sales tax in Maine, don't worry if you don't know the letters, it's fine, is 8%. 8%. So follow your formula. How much did we have to pay for the suit? $450. 1 plus, how do I write 8% as a decimal? Put your decimal in the back, move it 2 places, and what is my decimal? How many? 0.08, just one. So again, to find your multiplier, you put these two together. And you get 1.08. Again, that's your multiplier. And then in your calculator, 450 times 1.08. What do we get? How can I figure out how much tax I paid? What'd you just tell me on the other one? 486 minus 450 is $36 in tax. That's all you do. That's sales tax, y'all. That's it. All right, tell me what I do. A one-night hotel stay is $180. The sales tax is 15%. What is my formula? Times 0.15, perfect. What is your multiplier? 1.15. Put it in your calculator. 180 times 1.15 gives me, so our total price is $207. How do I figure out my tax? And that gives us $27. That's it, yep. Any questions on this first page? Just remember that formula. What do you think is going to be the difference in discount? Yeah, just subtract it. Again, I'm not sure why the format is off of this. This doesn't go with this problem. It goes with the last one. All right, a hammer costs $20. The sales tax in California is 7.5%. So what is my formula? Times?
1 plus
Okay, make sure you move that decimal the correct way. Watch it, guys. 1, 2, so 0.075. What's my multiplier? Perfect. 1.075. My total price, I'm going to put that in my calculator. 20 times 1.075 gives me $21.50. How much tax was there? $1.50. We started with $21.50, started with 20, sorry. Same thing on the next one. What's my formula? So your 6 is here, your decimal's behind it. We're going to move it 2 places. 1, 2, 0.06. That makes your multiplier what? 1.06. We're going to find our total price. 40 times 1.06 gives us what? 4240. I don't know what I'm writing. And then what is your tax? And again, to get your tax, 4240 minus 40. One more of these. How do I set it up? 345 is the price, times 1 plus. Look at it one more time. 0.12, yes, 0.12. Add them together to get my multiplier, which is 1.12. If I put it in my calculator, 345 times 1.12 gives me a total price of. And then how do I figure out my tax? Subtract that from 345 and I get 4140. Any questions on tax? All right, discount is the exact same way, except for discount means we're going to subtract. That's it. Okay, so the multiplier is going to be a little bit different on that one, so be careful. All right, Tyra received a 6% discount on her $80 grocery bill. We're going to set it up the exact same way. The cost was $80. We're going to do 100% of the cost, but we're going to get a discount, so we're going to minus. And then what is our percent as a decimal? Say it again. No, it's 6%. My decimal's back here. Yes. So move it backwards and you get 0.06. All right, guys, be careful right here. We're not adding it together anymore. 1 minus 0.06 is what? That is your multiplier. And it will always be less than 1, y'all. It's always going to be less than 1 because you're discounting it. All right, so then our total price is 80 times 0.94, which is 75.2. So $75.20. So this should say discount. I didn't make these notes. I apologize. So what was your discount? You do 80 minus 75.2, which gives you a discount of $4.80. So it's the same exact thing. So the only thing that's different is it's a minus, and this number inside of parentheses is going to be less than 1. Okay. Again, all of these should be discount. All right. So the next one, Lowe's has a 15% off sale on a $250 table saw. So how do I set it up? What's the price? Remember, now it's 1 minus because it's discount. We're taking away. We have 15%. What is it as a decimal? 0.15. Find our multiplier. 1 minus 0.15. What do we get? So 250 times 0.85, our multiplier. You can just put 0.85. You don't have to put the 0 in front. I don't care. Your total price, 250 times 0.85, gives me so $212.50. How do we figure out our discount? So our original price was $250. We only paid $212.50, and we get a discount of $37.50. All right. Last one on this page. Jackson gets a 2.5% discount by paying his $120 cable bill early. So what does he pay? How much does he pay? $120. We do 1 minus, what's his percent? So if it's 2.5, move it 2 decimal places, and we get what? Remember that this is your multiplier. So 1 minus 0.025 is 0.975. Put it in your calculator, find your total price. And we get 117. How do we find the discount? 120 minus 117 is $3. That's it. Guys, that's what you're going to be doing on your homework. It's real simple. Okay. One more page. Is everybody good with this one? All right. You're going to tell me whether this is an increase or decrease and tell me the percent of change. You need to be careful on the percent of change. Okay. So if it's increase, it's greater than 1. If it's a decrease, it's between 0 and 1. So it'll be a decimal between 0 and 1. And all we're going to look at is that set of parentheses. So right here for increase or decrease. So 0.85, is it greater than 1 or between 0 and 1? Between. So this one is a decrease. What about the next one? Why is it an increase? Yes. 0.95. Decrease because it's between 1 and 0. And then 1.25. Increase. So then be careful on your percent of change. Your percent of change is that number right there. So 1 minus R or in the 1 plus R. So the easy one is the 1 plus R. Anything above 1 So like the second one, 1.30. Your percent of change is how much is it over 1. So what you're trying to find is the difference in 1. Okay, so look at 1.30. How far is it from 1 on a number line? 0.30. The bottom one, 1.25. How far is it from 1? So again, how far from 1? How far is 0.85 from 1? 15. So your percent of change is 0.15. What about 0.95? How far is it from 1? Make sure that you write it as 0.05. That's literally all you do. Okay, and you can subtract it from 1 and that'll work the same way. All right, real world problems. Jessica owns a jewelry store. She must keep track of all the taxes sold in her store. What is the taxes on the following items? So it just wants the tax, okay? So how much is she going to pay in tax? So an emerald necklace price is 45, tax is 5%. So our formula says 45, 1 plus, how do I write 5% as a decimal? When I put this in my calculator, what would my multiplier be? My new price is going to be $47.25. It didn't ask your new price. What did it ask you? What are the taxes? So how would I figure that out? 47.25 minus 45 gives me, that's all. That's all they wanted. Okay, so all they want to know is how much tax you had to pay on the total cost. All right, how do I set the next one up? Mm-hmm. 85 times 1 plus 0.07. You guys can go ahead and put it in your calculator like that, or you can use the multiplier 1.07. What do we get? But how do I just get the tax? Subtract what? 85. 90.95 minus 85 gives us $5.95. Ruby slippers are $3.85. Tax is 8.5. So what is the following tax? How much should I have to pay? How do I do this? Make sure you put your 0 on the other side. 0.085. Again, for those of you that are struggling, if it's a decimal, move it 2 places and fill in anything with a 0. Okay, so be careful of those. I'm going to put it straight into my calculator, 385, 1.085. And I get 417.70, and I'm going to round that to 73. If you gave me 72, it would be okay. What do I have to do that number? Subtract 385, and I get $32.73. Is everybody okay? So just make sure you're answering the questions that it's asking is the biggest thing. All right. A dress shirt that normally costs $38.50 is on sale. They're not going to tell you whether it's tax or discount. You have to understand that yourself. What is the sale price of this shirt? So what formula am I using? The add or the subtract? Yes, it's on sale. So that means I'm taking money off, right? So we're going to do the price, $38.50. You're going to do 1 minus, and what's my percent as a decimal? 0.30. It just wants to know the price, so we're just sliding this right in our calculator. $38.50 times 1 minus 0.3 gives us $26.95. That's it. A tennis racket normally costs $65. The tennis racket is on sale for 20% off. What is the sales price of the tennis racket? How am I setting this up? 65 times 1 minus 0.20. Literally just put it in your calculator. 65 times 1 minus 0.20 gives me what? 52. That's all you need. You deposit $1,200 into a savings account that earns simple interest at a rate of 3% per year. If you earn interest, are you adding money into it or subtracting it out? Adding. So that's what you need to know. So how much should I start with? 1,200. We said 1 plus. How do I write 3% as a decimal? One more time. Move your decimal 2 places. Fill in anything with a 0. So 0.03. Put it straight into your calculator. 1,200 times 1.03 gives you 1,236. All right. You deposit $450 into a savings account that earns simple interest at a rate of 4% per year. How much will you have after 1 year? And it's already told, this is one time you're going to do it. And I already told you that interest was adding in there. So you're doing the same exact problem. We started with $450. So it's always what you start with. We're adding interest in, so 1 plus. How do I write 4%? 0.04. Put it in my calculator. 450 times 1.04 gives us 468. To get the next year, you would do 468 times 1.04. To get the next year, you do the next year's price times 1.04. We'll get to that soon. All right, water erosion is causing the Florida coast to deteriorate at a rate of 1.5% per year. Florida is approximately 11,800 miles squared. After 1 year, what is the effect of water erosion? So what square mileage did Florida start with? It said it's deteriorating. So what do you think that means in our formula? 1 minus, good. And how do I write 1.5 as a decimal? Move it 2 places, fill it in, 0.015. Put that straight into your calculator. 11,800, 1 minus 0.015 gives me 11,623 square miles. And that's it. Everybody okay? You're kind of doing the same thing on your homework. It's only the next 2 pages. So the only thing that I would tell you when you're doing this one looks exactly like the very beginning. When you get to this increase, decrease, and percent of change, remember increase is greater than 1. That's looking at this number. Decrease is a number between 0 and 1. And then remember your percent of change is how far from 1. So don't forget that. How far from 1 is it? Everything else is normal. 5 through 8 say markup. That's tax. Okay. So again, on the very beginning up here, markup is the same thing as tax. So markup means you're increasing. That means you're going to add. Everybody good? All right. Zoomers, I'm going to stop sharing, stop recording.